Welcome in, everybody from Regan's Corner and all that, everybody. So, we got a three-sport athlete from South Central, Zak Kimmel, on the program today. Zach, how are you doing and what's popping?
Doing good. Just got back from a run. Feeling good.
Absolutely. So, how did you get into cross country and track?
So, I've always been wanting to do track. I thought I was going to be a sprinter, and obviously that wasn't the case at all. Cross country was a complete accident. I did the school's color run, and I had a really good time. And the coaches were like, "You really need to consider running long distance." And it was just basically an accident, and I stuck with it, and it's going pretty good for me. So it was an accident for cross country, but I've always wanted to do track. So
Absolutely. And that cross country side, I mean, you got Bennett from last year, and then you have one of the legends in Kylie Warner.
hmm
Absolutely. So you're getting into that kind of legendary status, Mr. Kimball, with the long distance runners that South Central has breeded for
hmm
decades. But let's go into your winter sport. How did you get into the game of basketball?
oh, that started young, with the little youth weekend leagues at South Central. So that's always been there. I always knew I was gonna do basketball growing up, but that was before running. That was pretty much one of the first sports I ever did was basketball. So yeah.
So at first, was cross country kind of a conditioning tool for basketball?
I wouldn't say that. I'd say cross country is definitely the number one. I focus on like the races. It wasn't really to condition for basketball. It was to do good during cross country. Of course, it does get you conditioned for basketball, but that's the number one I got is cross country. That's my main sport. So I really hone in on that. And like when I play basketball, I think of cross country. Whereas when I'm running cross country, it's full cross country season. So it's
Okay, I like that. I like that because I've talked to a lot of athletes, in kind of track and in cross country, and they first kind of started with like softball or
mm,
baseball or basketball, and cross country kind of was the secondary. Which with you, basketball is kind of the secondary, which
yeah,
is kind of unique for an
yeah.
athlete of your caliber. Um, but what's your kind of superstitions when you're going in for a track meet?
Uh, like negative thoughts and all that.
No, like what you're doing like before meets or like what routines you have and stuff like that.
Um, well, of course, way before I even do the track meets and cross country meets, it's always pastas before. I always eat pastas the night before races. I got a carb load. That's something I've always done. Bunch of stretching, rolling out before meets. Basically getting mentally ready too. That's a huge part of running. Is you got to be the mental side's got to be there. You gotta have a strong mental game with like the physical aspect too. You put the work in, so now you gotta be ready for any mental challenges that you can do it, that you are a good runner, and that's pretty much good before track meets and cross country meets. Yeah, just making sure my body feels good, that I'm eating a bunch of spaghetti and pasta and just all that kind of stuff. Really, carbs are really good before meets. That's pretty much it. I mean, I don't eat anything too much in the morning on big meets. When I'm at the starting line, I just think that I'm ready to go. I mean, the work's already been put in. That coach always tells me, the work's already been put in, so the miles have been there.
Absolutely. So what is your favorite kind of trail to go on during a season?
Ooh, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones, a lot of good trails. Obviously, I don't like looking at cornfields to my left and right. Um, I like a good view when I run. Maybe probably running at the lake That's pretty cool. Running in Florida is awesome, but I mean, eh, cornfields are just boring. I mean, I like to go run other places. There's during cross country season, we go to visit a lot of parks that are really cool. I don't really have a favorite, but I mean, yeah, just a bunch of other places and running uh, other places instead of just the same place over and over again. I have a lot of favorite spots I run.
Absolutely. So, what's it like, kind of, because it's a little bit different from track season to cross country season. So, what are some aspects that are different from running on the kind of the trails and then going into spring season on kind of the track?
Yeah, so the main difference for me is you're going to see a lot more speed workout during track, of course, whereas you do a lot more tempos, which is basically you're going fast, but not as fast as you possibly can. So you're keeping up a fast pace, say maybe a 6 minute mile pace. You're like sustaining that for maybe 5 miles. That's called a tempo. So you're going to see a lot more tempos during cross country, whereas you're going to see a lot more speed workouts around the track during track season, of course. A lot more hill workouts during cross country, off roading stuff, more strides. So that's basically the difference is just hills and running off road more during cross country.
Absolutely. So, we talked a little bit about the technique and everything along it, but what's the training like for to be a great cross country runner or a long distance runner as yourself?
The training, it's just miles, bunch of miles. It's you gotta be able to push yourself. I mean, if you that's just number one. You gotta push your body, um, and you gotta do it before season starts. You gotta push your body months in advance. There'll be close to 70-mile weeks I'll be hitting. I want to be hitting more than that in season. Um, but yeah, training does get into full effect. It gets tough. You got to be ready for it mentally, physically, in months in advance before season even starts. You got to trust the process. You really have to hone in on just running and putting in the miles before it's season. So,
Absolutely. So, going into it, what was your favorite meet cross country wise in your junior year?
junior year, it's kind of weird because I hated it my freshman and sophomore year. I hated the New Prairie Invite, which is I'm wearing the shirt right now. It's a tough course. I hated it freshman year, hated it sophomore year, and then junior year, I was like, I gotta learn to love this course. I gotta learn to love it because semi-state is held at New Prairie. So one way or another, I have to learn how to like it. I have to learn to like the big hill, and I have to get used to the course a lot more if I want to make it out of that semi-state race. So I think New Prairie Invite's probably my favorite race. I like it. I like how it's really off road and there's no like road running at all. It's just all off road in the woods.
Absolutely. So, what are some of your goals with next year, your senior year in cross country, and then the rest of this year in your junior year?
Yeah, so junior year track right now, I really want to break out of the tens for the 2 mile. I want to get a sub 10, 9 minute, nine something 2 mile. I want to get down there. I want to shoot for that 2 mile record at South Central, which is a 9:47, I believe. I want to get that. I do also want to get the mile, which I think it's a sub 4:30. So it's both those times are pretty good. I want to be there. I want to get there. Um, and I mean regionals, like sectionals and regional wise, it's we have a very hard sectional. So if I don't make it out of sectionals, I mean, what can you do with a good time like that? I mean, it is what it is. Really, we have a very good sectional. I of course I would love to make it out, but there's a lot of other people who are running really quick times too. So that's my goals for junior track, and then going on to senior cross country. I want to hit a sub 16 5K. I want to be in the 15s. That'll be awesome. Of course, I want to win PCC again, go back to back. That'd be pretty awesome too. Just I want to make it to state. That's the big goal. I really wanted to do it junior year, but I had that one bad race had to be at semi-state. But oh well, past is in the past, so we gotta learn from it and move on. And I just really want to get there for senior year.
Absolutely. So, what's kind of things that you can do to kind of get your time up as a runner so you can get better times, so you can kind of develop more here in your senior year, so that semi-state, because you talked about over the hill, what are some things that you can develop in your off season that kind of puts you in that next stratosphere?
Yeah, just miles. Coach always says you have to build the foundation first. So you got to get a lot of miles. Then you can start honing in the workouts, doing maybe 2 workouts a week, start picking it up a bit. But the miles have to be there before you even think about workouts. The miles, you have to have a really good, strong base. Mentally, like I said, mentally got to be there, and just growing. As you get older, you're just growing. Um, I'm still growing. I know that. So it'll eventually lead to being stronger and faster, and it's natural. You just gotta trust the process. Yeah, it'll come with time. It will. I believe it. So I'm just gonna do the same workouts I keep doing. Whatever coach throws at me, I'm gonna handle it with the best of my ability, and I'm just gonna see what the season brings me. And I know I trust and I know it'll bring good things for me. So you just gotta believe it and put the work in.
Absolutely. So, what kind of advice have you taken over the years from Kylie, from your older sister, to kind of help you develop into one of the legends here? I mean, you're talking about breaking a record in your senior year and stuff like that. I mean, but what kind of things have you kind of leaned on both of them to kind of put yourself forward a little bit?
Well, I've heard the advice a lot of just run hard, run hard. My coach always tells me, believe it. Like, believe that you've put the work in already, believe that you are the better runner in track and cross country. And then for the basketball side, it's just, leave it out there on the court, just play, have fun. That's kind of the big thing too, is have fun, enjoy your junior, senior years, your freshman, sophomore years, enjoy high school. um, Work hard in all these sports. Don't just don't just settle for being good at all the sports you do. Why not just be the best you can be at every sport? There's no need to settle for being good. Just be the best you can in each sport. So I've really took that advice well. Um, I've put it into all my sports that I do. Running hard, believing mentally for basketball, track, and cross country. And so yeah.
Okay, I like that a lot. Especially, let's go back to basketball a little bit.
Mhm.
So, h- what was the moment that you realized I can shoot from pretty much anywhere,
Mm.
especially on the JV level, and then
Yeah.
kind and on the varsity level as well, and a few spot starts or a few spots kind of appearances this year and last year.
Yeah, so I always loved that the right wing shot that I have. I always knew I had that shot, so no matter what, I was going to shoot that shot. I knew I was a shooter in that spot. So Coach Spear did a really good job with uh, my mental side of basketball. He always told me, you're a good shooter, believe in it. And I played and I kept shooting shots, and that you don't make the shots that you don't take, so you have to shoot more. So I did exactly that. I shot a bunch of shots, and a bunch of them went in, a bunch of them missed too. But you just gotta keep shooting. Like Coach Spear always told me, keep shooting, keep your confidence up. If this shot misses, the next one's gonna go in. You just always gotta think that. Um, yeah, I always knew I was a good shooter. Coach Spear helped me believe in it more. So I really enjoyed that and what he brought to the table. The JV side, I knew they all needed me as a JV role player. I really wanted to be on varsity, of course. You know that. Everyone knows that. It is what it is. Just wasn't my time for varsity. I really wanted to be on varsity, but next year's I'll bring it all to the table next year, of course. So I'm be the best I can be next year. Do the same stuff I did, but better, and bring it to the table next year for varsity.
Absolutely. And kind of being that shooter. So do you like coming off screens a little bit more, or do you like kind of going into it with the dribble?
I like going into it off a dribble. I love that. I love the just the dribble shots. I mean, I love going off screens too, but if I'm coming off the screen, I like just driving it, taking it a little bit more, taking it to the hoop. Um, I just like it off the dribble a little bit more too. That's probably me.
Absolutely. Because there's a bunch of shooting guards on your team. I mean, with Welsh, with
Oh yeah.
Ward, with Grass. I-
Hmm.
Looking at the whole team throughout the year, to me, there wasn't a true point guard because Jay Orta kind of stepped into that kind of spot a little bit there.
Yeah.
Um, I can see it kind of as that kind of spot next year a little bit more, and just taking those rhythm shots, those clutch shots that you've seen from Welsh,
Hmm.
from Jay, and kind of all you guys kind of developing into a group.
Yeah.
So, what are some keys that kind of get past a Couts or a Morgan, with Holder, with what
Hmm.
they are doing over at
Yep.
Couts? I mean, they're missing a few seniors, but a lot of them are coming back.
Yeah. So they're very good players. Morgan has great players. Counts has great players. Um, I don't know. I forgot what Coach Spears said, but it's been years since we've beat Couts. I don't remember the exact date, or I don't know about Morgan, but it's been a very long time. Of course, I want to do it. Some keys to that are we all have to be thinking the same thing. We all have to be playing the same way. We have to really connect. We have to really be a unit. That not just one person's beating the Couts, the Morgan team. All five have to be going at them and scoring the points. There can't just be one or two people scoring the points. We all have to be a threat. We all have to be beasts in what we do. So we all have to lock up on defense, play good offense, because the offense comes naturally. But we really have to lock up on defense. Yeah, they're both good teams, but you got to believe it. We have to play physically, like I know we will, and I think we can. Of course, I think we can.
Absolutely. And then let's go into the Westville of it all. Boland's graduating, but
Hmm.
the two Peppers are still there. So, what are some things that kind of get you over the hump and maybe even sweep the arch rival series with lacrosse, with
Mm.
Tri Township? I
Oh yeah.
almost, I almost did it there, Zach. And Westville.
Yeah. So Westville, they have, Gavin Hannon. He's good buddy of mine. He's good. He's very good at basketball. But like I said, if there's five of them going against just the Peppers and the Gavin Hannon, I mean it's two or five's better than two, so it's gonna be tough for two of them to shut down five. I think if we're all a unit of five, it's just gonna be our game. I don't know. He plays very fast. Gavin Hannon plays very fast. I think we want to play fast too. That's what we do. It'll be back and forth. I think we need to slow him down a little bit, not get them in transition because they are a good transition team. Um, with Pepper's brother, um, being physical in the paint, we have to do that. Lock them up out of the paint. Um, when the guards drive the basketball, we have to be ready for contact, draw fouls, pump fakes. We really have to get into them. That's one thing I think we did lack on all sides is we really need to be more physical when the guards take it. When the guards take it to the hoop, we really have to bump them, shove them, draw fouls. So if we can get him in foul trouble, that'll be one less player we have to worry about. And like I said, if those two are taking over the whole Westville team, and then one of them is gone because of foul trouble, it's gonna be tough. So I think that's a good key, good way to do it, and all of us believing we can do it is gonna help even more.
Absolutely. And kind of going towards your guys' sectional for basketball a little bit. North Judson has dominated it for the last 2